Good morning. We are in Exodus 13. Exodus 13. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Sanctify unto me all the firstborn, whatsoever openeth the womb among the children of Israel, both of man and of beast, it is mine. And Moses said unto the people, Remember this day. Verse 3. In which ye came out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. For by strength of hand the Lord brought you out from this hand. No, out from this place. There shall no leavened bread be eaten. Number 4. This day came ye out in the month Abib. And it shall be, when the Lord shall bring thee into the land of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, which he sware unto thy fathers to give thee, a land flowing with milk and honey, that thou shalt keep this service in this month. Six. 7 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, and in the seventh day shall be a feast to the Lord. 7. Unleavened bread shall be eaten 7 days, and there shall no leavened bread be seen with thee, neither shall there be leaven seen with thee in all thy quarters. And thou shalt shew thy son in that day, saying, This is done because of that which the Lord did unto me when I came forth out of Egypt. Verse 10. Thou shalt therefore keep this ordinance in his season from year to year. (11) And it shall be, when the Lord shall bring thee into the land of the Canaanites, as he sware unto thee and to thy fathers, and shall give it thee, that thou shalt set apart unto the Lord all that openeth the matrix. Morpheus. Let's see what that says over here. Okay, that's 12. 13, 12. That just goes to show y'all 13:12. Let's see. 13:12. Okay, 13:12. Every firstborn of a donkey you shall redeem as a lamb. No. It does not say matrix in the other thing. 13:12. Let's see. So, the matrix. Okay. Now, I just want to throw something out there. Now, just because we discover a digital world, somebody, I heard some stuff going around that if you look low enough under a microscope, you find ones and zeros, which basically, I don't know how true that is, but so basically what that says is that we're basically in a, it's not what we thought it was. It's not a biological world. It's a computerized world, digital world, really. Now, I don't know how true that is, but the point is that just because that is, does not mean that God is not real. That's not what that means. Okay. End of story. End of story. So if we find out there's not biological stuff, when we get down to the base of it, it's really just a bunch of coding and stuff. And when it gets, and when you look, and when you zoom out, you see a bunch of wet stuff. Water, blood, sweat, stuff like that. When you zoom out, you see that stuff. But when you get down low to it, as low as you can go, maybe, then you see ones and zeros. Like, now I don't know how true that is, but just because the world isn't what we thought it was, that doesn't mean that God isn't real. That means he is real. He just said it right here, the Matrix. So all that extra stuff y'all got going on, y'all can hang that up. God has been declaring the truth since day one. Okay. So I mean, it's just, yeah. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos that say that when you look low enough under the microscope, you're going to find ones and zeros. A binary code is basically, which that defies all laws of physics as we know it. We never expected to find that. Now I don't know how true it is. That means like, oh, wow, okay, we're really in a creation now. We know that because nature does not have ones and zeros. That's not how that works. You finally discovered that you're in a creation. Not so much different than the way you program your own computers. You finally realize you're in a creation. Now, don't panic. Like I said about those Hollywood movies, they're dead on with their stuff. They're dead on with their stuff. Even in the Matrix movie, they had prophecy. A dude that would come and save everything. Okay? That was Jesus. Okay? Don't panic. Alright? You can look it up for yourself. I don't know how true it is, but there's a lot of videos talking about these ones and zeros and how that's at the bottom. Where is that in the story? Where is that in everything they told you? That's worse than Santa Claus. That's worse than the Easter Bunny. This is terrible. Yes, everything's not natural like you thought it was. It's created. Nothing is natural. I tried to tell y'all that, and I don't know how true the ones and zeros is, but it's there. That's a real thing that people have videos about. I don't know how true it is, but I don't see why they lie. But so, but it's not when you find out that the world is digital. It says it right here, the Matrix, Exodus 13:12, King James version. It says it right there. It talks about the digital world, the Matrix. I don't know if that's what that means, because M-A-T I think means mother, the maternal. I know I'm a scholar. Okay, so just want to throw that out there, man. It says it right here. Open up the Matrix. Because if that is true, and I'm pretty sure it is, it's just not spoken of because it's the ultimate revelation. Once you got down so low under that microscope that you found ones and zeros, binary coding. Once you found that, you officially discovered that you are in a digital universe with a bigger mind, because that is not part of physics. That is not part of nature. To see ones and zeros under the microscope. Those are human. Ones and zeros are supposed to be human created digits. How in the ever loving do you find that at the bottom of a microscope? You don't. Okay. Newsflash. You don't. So I'm just going to write that off as a conspiracy. End of story. You don't believe me? Go look for yourself. I don't know how true it is, but all I know is that doesn't disprove God. God just said right here in 13:12 about the Matrix. Anyone who enters the Matrix, he already knows it's a digital world. He created it. A program. Now I'm done. Nothing changes. Nothing changes. Only you finally find out. Yeah. Now, I don't know how true it is. All I'm saying is it's right here in the Matrix. So those are one of those rabbit holes, man. You got to be careful with that. I don't know how true it is because that's not relevant to me. What's down there at the bottom of that microscope with those ones and zeros? That's obviously, I don't know how true it is, so I'm not going to talk about it anymore. All I can tell you is there's only one way out, and that's Jesus Christ, or door number 2. Just no way around it. So the Bible's been telling the truth since day one. End of story. Because with the right binary codes, you can control everything. Because there is a programmer on one end. Guess who that is? Mm-hmm. That's what programming is. It's ones and zeros. In some manner of some fashion that somebody knows what those are set up to mean. Only the interpreter can know those things. Now, I'm no programmer. I don't know binary code. I don't know about that stuff. All I know is that the person who writes the code, they know what it means. They know the language. Okay, it's purposeful. It's there serving a purpose. So now I don't want to get too off tangent with that because I don't know how true it is. All I know is that right here in Exodus 13:12, let's try that again. That thou shalt set apart unto the Lord all that openeth the matrix, and every firstling that cometh of a beast which thou hast, the males shall be the Lord's. Okay. So I think this. I'm just gonna leave it alone, but I don't know how true it is. It's probably true because right here it corroborates that. Had a customer text. Okay. Uh. So you know, you know, in school and stuff, when we were taught, you know, they if the ones and zeros and stuff is true, they don't really teach that in school about 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 the whole microscope thing and what's down there at the bottom. I don't know how true it is, but they also don't teach you that Christ is the Savior. So a lot of stuff they don't teach. So I just want to throw some stuff out there to let you know. Um, let's go on here. And every firstling of an at And every firstling that cometh of a beast which thou hast, the males shall be the Lord's. And every firstling of an ass thou shalt redeem with a lamb. And if thou wilt not redeem it, then thou shalt break his neck, and all the firstborn of man among thy children thou shalt redeem. And it shall be, now this can get kind of tricky. Okay. Firstborn. It can mean a lot of different things. Mainly the main purpose behind this stuff, I think, is just to show that God is real. People might say, okay, well, why are we doing this? What does this mean? It's basically God reminding them, hey, I brought y'all out. I'm God. I'm in charge. So all of these ordinances are basically just to show, I mean, among other layered reasons. I mean, it can mean a lot of things, you know. It could be a symbol of us being redeemed from Satan, from sin, from death. It could symbolize life itself. It could symbolize Israel. It could symbolize a lot. At the same time, it doesn't necessarily have to mean anything. It could just be God saying, "Hey, I want y'all to give something to me, and do this in a way so that y'all remember," and stuff like that. I mean, well, God is going to be very open with them. But yeah, it can mean a lot of things. So I don't want to put a label on this of why they do that. But ever since they came out of Egypt, he establishes an intimate relationship with them. He establishes an intimate relationship with them that is, there's a lot going on where, you know, they're always doing stuff all throughout every facet of their life. They have traditions. They have stuff they do involving their offspring. It's very hands-on with what he's doing, and that's really what the whole purpose is. I mean, that's not the whole purpose, but that's a big purpose of what he's doing, so that he's involved in every facet of their life. And it's just proof, because you know that they wouldn't do that on their own. So it's just more proof. Thank you, God. It's more proof that this wouldn't just happen on their own. And if you have any eyes to see, to perceive what's going on, you'll say, hey, this is obviously something that they wouldn't do on their own. This is something coming from a outside source, obviously God. And that should be more proof to you. So all of this has multi purposes. Ultimately, also, maybe not ultimately, but mainly proving God's existence. Okay. Because if you have eyes to see and step back and say, oh, that's weird. Oh, that's instead of saying all that, say, hold on. Would they actually do this? Who would make this up? No, you don't. This is exactly what it's saying it's doing. God is giving them instructions. That's exactly what that is. But that's why it's done like this also, so that you'll see that. People don't see that. No, that's what you should be asking yourself. Okay, all this stuff. Okay, if God isn't real, What are the odds of this happening on some other type of scenario? Yeah, God is real. Period. That's how you know by all this weird random stuff. That's how you know. Oh, you never had that line of reasoning. Yeah. You have to have a line of reasoning to understand what's fact from fiction based upon the randomness and stuff like that. This stuff is happening. Yeah. Yeah. When man makes stuff, it's not random like that. It's predictable. It's obvious. It's obvious when man is making something. You have to have an eye for that, I guess. I don't know, but I know. I can see. Okay. So, as we're moving forward, some of these chapters can be kind of like, talking about, firstborns and all this, and it's just, it can be kind of like, huh, but that's how reality is, you know. Bad example, but you go to a dentist's office, you go to a doctor's office, you're going to sit there for a while. That's just reality of the world. Everything's not all action packed and interesting and stuff like that. It should be another sign to you of the realness of this. That's just the reality of the world. Okay? Everything isn't built for your entertainment. A lot of stuff is just necessary. When you have a doctor visiting multiple patients in an office, there's going to be some waiting around. There's going to be some waiting. That's how that happens. That's how that works. Although it's necessary. Okay. You can't have as many doctors as you have patients. That's not how that works. You can have one God and the rest of humanity. Okay, there's gonna be some waiting. Bad example, maybe, but there's one God, and then there's the rest of us. He's not on our time. Okay, he's not on our time. Although he is, you just have to figure that out. Well, I'm telling you. And it came to pass by strength of hand the Lord brought us out from Egypt, from the house of bondage. But that's what they said. And it shall come to pass, it shall be when thy son asketh thee in time to come, saying, what is this? By strength of hand the Lord brought us out from Egypt, from the house of bondage. I want to back up for a second to that thing about the lamb. Okay, and every firstling of 13 of an ass thou shalt redeem with a lamb. Okay, so that's cool. Okay, every ass that's born, he wants y'all to replace it with a lamb. I'm pretty sure that's a better thing to have is the lamb. So Autumn, that's a big image right there. So he's enhancing things for himself. Okay, for every donkey that's born, I want y'all to give a lamb in its place. I mean, that's kind of profound if you think about it, and that's definitely a image of God's character. How he's always going to be enhancing his stuff. You know, that's how that works. So this is a good illustration, and that's what we see through a lot of stuff that we're about to get into. Is that there's a wise, a nobleness. There's something going on that is a order that is it's moving in principle. It's something that's getting better. It's something that's calling for an improvement um, along those lines. So let's read that again. That's kind of interesting. And every firstling. Okay. With a lamb. And if thou wilt not redeem it, then thou shalt break his neck. Okay. Okay, so he's saying if y'all don't redeem the ass, then it has to die. So okay. If a donkey is born, okay, and y'all don't redeem it, y'all don't just keep it. No, it dies. You kill it. So if you want to keep the donkey, I don't know which one was more valuable. I'm going to assume the lamb. I don't know. It could be the donkey. A lamb is edible. I think in the culture. I don't think they ate donkeys like that. But I think that was more like a workload type thing. I could be wrong. Or a traveling thing. So if I'm not mistaken, what they're saying here, and this is great that we're doing this. Okay, he hasn't really said what they're doing with them yet. I think they're ready for like sacrifices and stuff like that. Okay. We'll see what they're going to do with all that, but it's the Lord's. Okay. Now this is big. This is big. This is really big. We haven't seen yet what they're going to do with them. They're going to do sacrifices. They're going to feed the priests. There's no telling what they're going to do. Okay. But God is fully involved at this point. He's going to be fully involved in the culture, and I'm jealous. You know the way they had everything right there with them, but we have it now with the Christ. He's still there. He's still here like he was then. Okay. Except now he's inside of you. Instead of like in a community setting, he's actually inside of you now. Which is different. So that's interesting because when the donkey is born, if y'all don't redeem him, you break his neck. We're gonna leave that alone, but I hope y'all are seeing some of the stuff because it's really, really profound. So I kind of want to look in the footnotes on that, but we're not going to. I don't like footnotes. I'm going to. I don't want to miss any principles. Let's see. 13:13. we're getting into the meat and potatoes of a lot of stuff in the Exodus, because this is where the main proof of God is. This is where the rubber meets the road of seeing God. Okay. If you can see stuff in here that you recognize is something bigger going on, then you're on a good path to have your faith founded. Okay. Because it's there. So as we're going through this, we're going to point out what's significant, what obviously isn't by man, and just stuff like that. We're in a good spot because I'm going to point out every chance I can. All right, so right now we're going to Exodus 13:13 on the footnote to see what that says. Even though we don't like footnotes, they slow us down. Firstborn animals were to be sacrificed. Okay. Okay. So it's also a symbol of, okay, that the Pharaoh's firstborn died. Okay, but theirs didn't. So this is a reminder, I think, to keep their firstborn children, they had to give up a lamb. Okay, to be sacrificed. So yeah, that's another principle. So if this footnotes are correct, it says, okay, the firstborn of every male, man and beast, is mine. If you want to keep your son, your firstborn son, guess what? You have to give up a lamb in its place. And all this is a reminder of the Exodus. I mean, among many other principled reasons, this is a reminder of the Exodus so that they know they didn't just come out for free. People died. People died. The firstborn of Pharaoh died. Okay. They didn't just come out on the strength. I mean, they did, but all right. So that's important. It's not like he's just saying, "Oh, your firstborn is mine." That's over. Like Debo. No, he's saying, "I want to make y'all sacrifice." It's a multiple thing. I don't want to put a finished label on what he's saying here, because it's huge, huge, huge. For one, he's proven himself. Number two, he's being in a relationship with them. Number three, he's ushering in the Christ. Number four, it's just many, 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 many things. I would say one of the principal reasons behind all this stuff, about the stuff that they're instituting or establishing, is that his realness, he's making himself known, because he's basically saying it came at a price, you know, and I want y'all to remember that price, that I went out of my way to save y'all, type of deal. So, now, I don't want to put a label on it, like you said. Like I said, I don't want to put a label on it, because it's not just one thing. It's multiple things. Mainly, God is real. That type of thing. But these are the things we want to slow down and look at. Sacrifice. God speaking. What are the motives? What should we take away from this stuff? The main thing that we're going to take away is that God is real. Okay? You can't make this stuff up. Blood is going to be shed. Animals are going to be burnt. They're going to be slaughtered. Okay? They're going to be slaughtered. Blood is going to be shed. Blood is going to be sprinkled. Christ is going to be killed. Okay? Satan is involved. God created the universe, among other things. We're completely in his hands. Okay? He wants you to know that. He loves you. He's faithful. He's firm. He has many, 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 many things he's going to show, different aspects of his character and his principle, about what he expects, what he wants, how merciful he is. But the main thing we should take away from this stuff, and we're just now getting into it, is that you can't make this stuff up. There's just no way that man is going to come up with this stuff. It just doesn't make any sense. Period. It's not a viable line of reasoning to say that. There's obviously some spiritual principles involved: death, sacrifice, bloodletting, setting apart stuff that we would never do on our own. It's obviously something higher telling us to do that. We would never do that on our own. Period. That's not how nature works. And let me just remind y'all that the judicial system that we have and the governments that we have is all founded upon this stuff. Judeo-Christian setups. That's where the system that we have, even through pre-medieval times, with Sparta and Greece and all those places where they had governments and judges. All of that comes from this setup. I just want to throw that out there. That the very foundations that we have is set up based upon this stuff. No other place. We're not there yet, but yeah. That's where the foundations of our government and our judicial system come from, is from this stuff, from God. We go into the courtroom, they make you swear on the Bible. And we're convicted, and you're held based upon witnesses. You can't just be convicted on nothing. They had to give you a fair trial, and that is Judeo-Christian foundations coming from the Jewish back here. So everything that we have around us today, as far as fair justice system, for the most part, comes from back here that is trying to not have corruption. All that comes from God and where He lays His stuff out. All that comes from here. That's where that comes from. Nowhere else. That's exactly where that comes from. Judeo-Christian standards. Because God was involved back here, and it's been recognized since day one that that's how we need to do stuff. Because it's right and fair. And that's what you should be seeing in this. Now, I gotta go to work and do a massive jungle. About an hour away from here. Okay. So we didn't finish today. Obviously, in 13, it wasn't a long chapter, but we're breaking into these parts where this is the peanut butter and jelly. This is the meat on the bone. This is where you see that it's not man doing this. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where you find out God is real. The stuff He's doing, the stuff He's calling for, is something that just man wouldn't do. Period. But guess what? It was done, and that's your proof. That's the unspoken thing that I'm saying here on Preach Fed. I'm saying the unspoken things. These are the stuff that you're supposed to know. You're supposed to know that man would never do this. You're supposed to know that man can't make this up. You're supposed to see that. I'm going to see it for you here. Okay, I'm going to see it for you. I'm going to point out every significant thing we can that points to God and His realness. Because it is. You can't make this stuff up. What part of killing an animal just to kill it and not eat the meat and stuff and just burn it? No, that's not what man does. Man kills and eats. What part of that is man's idea? Well, how does that benefit to put a meat on a fire, kill a thing, wash it, do all this stuff, and throw it on the fire? How does that benefit man? It's just smoke's going up. We're not eating it. We're just cooking it because we think it's cool. Or we want to fake a God. No, that's not how that works. Man doesn't waste food like that. Man doesn't waste food and go through work and all this stuff just to burn and say we're cool. No, that doesn't work like that. If man is going to kill something and clean it and ritualize himself and sanctify himself and go through all this stuff so that it's passable in the eyes of God, that's what it's for. It's not because man made it up. And it's endless, the proof. It's endless. If man is gonna, first of all, man isn't gonna clean himself up. He's just gonna kill and eat, and not share. He's gonna be greedy, and it's gonna be pure mayhem. No, God is involved here. Things are in order, and He's gonna do many things to show that that's the case. Why? Because He's fair. He understands that it's in today's world, Satan is involved, and he's trying to strip you of all that. But guess what? The proof is here, and we're here on Preach Facts. You know, we're really starting to get in. We're really starting to get into some of the meat on the bone here. We're really starting to get in. It's in the details. Okay. All right, y'all. So look, we're gonna let y'all go. We're on YouTube at Preach Facts. We're on TikTok at Preach Facts 7. Have a good day.